what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please hit that subscribe button for me. And also hit the like button for me. That would be greatly appreciated. The George Floyd death. I've been struggling with that one over the last several days. Watching the news, listening to the radio, and initially I said, you know, I'm not going to even make a public comment about this on my YouTube channel. Because you guys know my YouTube channel is about personal finance, it's about luxury cars, it's about how to make additional streams of income, and then ultimately how to obtain financial freedom. But, you know, I cannot act like this situation with Mr. Floyd has not affected me. I'm a black man living in a great country. So I understand exactly how people are feeling of you know, who look like me, who are African American people in this country. But I also want to make sure you guys understand that we're still all human beings. And I'm not going to sit here and bash another race of people. That's not my thing. What I will tell you is I certainly understand the frustration and the hurt and the pain that a lot of folk that look like me are going through. As a young kid growing up in Florida, in South Florida, the county that I grew up in at the time was I believe the most segregated county in the country. And over the years, the county that I live in has made some progress. But there is still quite a bit of segregation in this county. Now that doesn't mean it's a bad county. I have a lot of respect for the county that I live in. I've grown up here, I've raised my kids here, and I've had the opportunity by the grace of God to be able to carve out a great life in this area. But what I want to talk about today is what's going on with this violence against black men. And again, you know, I'm not going to talk about the police or any of this kind of stuff. What I will tell you is it's wrong. No person should be treated the way George Floyd was treated. No person should be treated that way. I don't care what color you are. Unfortunately, black men seem to be treated this way more often than any other section of our population. What's the solution? Well, that's up to us. In my opinion, we're the solution. History tells me when we as a human race decides an issue is important enough and we get behind it, especially here in the United States, and we get behind it as a human race, we get it resolved. Let's think about slavery here in the United States. Our ancestors got fed up with it as a race, as a human race, and they took necessary steps to end it. Let's think about segregation in our country. Our ancestors, as a human race, decided enough was enough. And for the most part, we ended a lot of national segregation. Although, like I mentioned, there are still some pockets of segregation. So this issue with black men dying in situations where it could have been avoided, if we really want to end this tragedy, we can do it as a human race, but we have to make the decision we want to make that happen. This is a human race issue. So we can talk about the problem, but I think we also got to talk about the solution. This country, again, like I mentioned earlier, is a great country. It's given me an opportunity to do everything I wanted to do. Now, there were obstacles along the way. As I mentioned, growing up here in South Florida, I ran into a lot of obstacles as a young black kid. And then as a young black man, I ran into a lot of obstacles. But thank God, I didn't run into the situation like Mr. Floyd ran into, or others before him. I didn't run into those issues. I was one of the fortunate ones. What I can tell you is if we don't change this situation, it's going to get worse. And our kids and their kids are going to be the ones that'll have to pay for it. We got an election coming up this year. My recommendation is, if you're going to vote for somebody and this issue is important to you, I would make sure before I voted for that person, I knew where they stood on this issue. I would make sure the person that I'm voting for understands how important it is to make this issue a priority. And as we get closer and closer to these elections, and we're starting to have these town hall meetings and these nationally televised debates, if this issue is not in the front and center, then I would ask you to consider who are you really voting for. Because these people who we put in office are the people who we put in office to carry out the American people agenda. So make sure that if you want this to change, you got to make sure these people who you're voting for are going to make sure they do everything in their power as an elected official to make sure it changes. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's on us. If enough of us as a human race want to change this here in the United States, we'll change it. We've done it in the past, and we can do it again. And guys, please, in the comments, let's not make this about black and white. Although we understand black folk are hurting, black folk are being mistreated, especially black men. We know that. My recommendation is we concentrate on some solutions and not hate and not bicker and name calling, but let's concentrate on some solutions so that we can try to resolve this and make this a better world for everybody. I think we can. Just do me that favor in the comments. Let's make it positive. Let's make sure we come to the comments with healthy debate, but also with solutions. Once again, my prayers and thoughts go out to the Floyd family. It was a tragedy. Hopefully, Mr. Floyd didn't die in vain. Hopefully, there will be some change associated with the terrible incident that happened to him. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your schedule today to check out this video. Stay safe, continue to love one another, and we'll get through this together. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.